This is Fantology.
You may have heard of us.
All right, what's up, Wheel of Time fans? This is Steven from Fantology, your host as always, and I'm with my lifelong friend Josh and a special guest for this video. Josh, who do you have over there with you?
I have my wonderful wife, McKenzie, who has been referenced on the show many times. And she was on the Avatar episode that we did like a year ago now. Yeah, about a year ago. Yeah. But this is the first time she's been on video. So yeah, happy to have her.
Hey everyone.
So the curtain has been pulled back. Listeners were wondering who Josh was always referring to. Well, here she is. And the reason why you're here, McKenzie, is to offer a non-book reader's perspective. Not that you don't read books at all, but just you haven't read The Wheel of Time before. Perspective on the show. The show's obviously coming out on Friday. So this is just in a few days at time of recording. And we're trying to come up with some kind of unique spin on this that all the other content creators have not done already. And this is what we landed on. So we'll see how this goes. But we're going to watch the trailer and Mackenzie is going to stop us and ask us questions. And we're going to try to answer. That's the plan.
Yeah, we're going to answer in ways that are spoiler-free, but helps prep her for the show. So she might say, these two characters look like they have an interesting relationship. And we can say, yeah, you might want to look out for, this dynamic type thing. We won't know like plot point spoilers, but this is, a way to prep for the show and get some fundamentals of the Wheel of Time going into the show. Yeah.
All right.
Excited.
Okay, let's do it. Without further ado, now's the time, right?
Yep.
All right. So it sounds like we're just going to play it and I'll pause, ask questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to start it here?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Swear your oath, Moraine Sedai.
I swear to speak no word that is not true, to make no weapon with which one person may kill another, and never to use the one power as a weapon.
Okay. I know we're barely into it.
It didn't take very long.
I have watched this a couple of times before. I'm assuming that she's like the main character. Based on the trailers, at least, they focus mainly on her. Is she? I don't know.
Yes and no. There's a
Okay.
lot of characters, like the books have tons of viewpoint characters. And I think most people would say that Rand is actually the main character of the first book, but she's by far, like Rosamund Pike is by far the lead actress. And I think they're really like playing that up and making it seem like, so she's going to be focused on more. Moraine plays a very large part in the first book, but probably even more than the books.
She is, if you were to compare it to like Lord of the Rings, she would be like Gandalf. So like Frodo would be like what you would think of as the main character from the Lord of the Rings, right? But Gandalf is like also a main character. Like he gets them to go into action and kind of sends them on their quest and is like vital to the story.
Yeah, I mean there can be a lot of main characters. But...
Yeah.
Okay.
And the show is leaning in to her being the main character of the first season. Well, for as many seasons, we don't know how many are going to run, but they're leaning into her being the main protagonist, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
From the promotional material, like the trailer that they've shared. Yeah.
Okay. And then the other one you said, Rand. Okay. Maybe point them out when we get to him.
Yeah. and again, in the show, Rand is, I think, gets in terms of viewpoints, gets the most viewpoints from the first book, but the show is leaning into kind of maybe 4 or 5 other characters as being equally as important as Rand.
Okay, so he's one of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll point those characters out as we go, and it'll make it very obvious as we go through the trailer. Yeah.
Okay, and then just one more question about this. What is her one special power? Can I know that yet, or is that too?
No. Yeah. So the one power represents it's the magical force in the world, and it's a balance between Saidar and Saidin. Saidar is wielded by women, Saidin by men, and in generations
I only recognize that from your Fantology intro.
Yeah,
I never
exactly.
Knew.
Oh yes,
yeah. That's right. Yes. Yes. And so generations ago, Saidin was tainted, was corrupted, and is no longer able to be used safely. So men still develop the ability, some men and some women, not everyone can use this power, but some that have this proclivity towards it can. And men that develop this ability go crazy, go mad. And so there's this whole faction of the Aes Sedai. The Aes Sedai are these women on screen. They're basically like the wizards, and they're only women in this generation, because the men are all crazy or have been have had their power still are gentled, I guess is the word, but just meaning that they can't use it any longer. So these women are kind of the leaders, some of the leaders of the world. And I think I lost my train of thought there. What was I saying, Josh?
Yeah, you're going into a little bit too much detail for where we're at in the trailer. But I was
too excited.
there was, if we go back a tiny bit, there's a clip right here. Oops. Okay, there's a clip right here of these women are keeping this man that can that can channel. They're keeping him in this cage, and so that he try and protect the world from him.
Okay.
So
that was going to be one of my other questions, of just the role of women. I can tell like that they.
And just to go into a little bit more detail, back to the shot that we were just on. So you can see that these women are dressed in different colors, and it looks like they're doing that in the show to represent different Ajas, which are different factions of these power that the women yield. The red Aja in the book, at least, and it looks like they're keeping this the same for the show, is the Aja that goes out and finds men and kind of protects the world from men. And so in some ways they're kind of represented as a little bit, some of them might be kind of evil in the books, but not really, but they're like pretty ruthless, because they'll go out and like gentlemen or like kill men that they're worried about, destroying the world with this power.
Okay.
And to be clear,
that was a lot.
They all use the same power, but they have like different mantras or goals, depending on which one. And there's how many are there? Gosh, I'm not going to say how many there are on air because I might get it wrong, but there's at least 7. I'm pretty sure there's 7.
Yeah. But like Browns like are all about studying like and learning. Right. And then, there's different Ajas have different things.
Red. Yeah. Go ahead. I
was going to say, is hers unique to her? Is her power unique, or do they all? Is it the same?
Not really.
Okay.
They all use the same power, and some of the Ajas have different kind of like secrets and like ways that they use the one power that are kind of taught to only people in the Aja. Like the blue Aja can control like pests and stuff, right? That's like one of their things that they have. It's in the Eye of the World. I don't want to, or no, it's in New Spring. Sorry, New Spring.
Okay.
Anyway.
I mean, the best example would be Yellow is really good at healing people, and that's what they're specialized in.
But like somebody from the blue Aja or red Aja can still heal. But like if somebody's about to die or needs something healed really well, then they would probably take them to the yellow Aja, because that's like what their field is.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, 13 seconds in. I already know a lot more than I did. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what Aes Sedai means in the old tongue? Servants of all. It is they who serve the world.
I didn't choose this path, but I will follow it.
Where next?
The 2 rivers. The old blood runs deep in those mountains.
Okay, so this, I think it's just the visual, but I feel like this shot like really stands out to me. Just sticks out in my mind when I think about it. I know it's the wheel.
This one in the pool?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the circularness. I feel like they do that a lot in these, but yeah.
Yeah, the trailers have they have several different like circular things. Yeah, that's actually really good. I hadn't thought about that with the spinning around in the water, but yeah.
I mean, even the shot is kind of creating the Aes Sedai symbol, Stephen, like the
yin
dark
yang
over here
symbol,
and the light over here. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And McKenzie has I kind of excitedly showed her all these trailers, as they came out. So she's kind of, but we didn't really talk about them a ton. But so these are like the shots you remembered.
Yeah, this is the one that really stands out to me.
Okay.
I don't know.
Cool.
Is it?
This is kind of ambiguous, like where there's a lot of theorizing that has gone amongst the community, but we don't know for sure kind of what is happening in this scene. All right, Stephen?
Okay.
Most likely this character is Gawain Alvear. She's one of the 5 younger kids who come from this kind of backwoods country town, and these 5 are very important. And this seems to be like the shot where she is becoming like a member of the older women's group, like kind of the reaching maturity through this ceremonial thing. That's what we think, at least. Yeah.
But this is not a recreation from a scene from the book.
Okay.
It looks like they've kind of came up with the ceremony that is not described in great detail in the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess not related to this scene, but what you just said. So the 5 know each other before all this. Okay.
Yeah, they're all from the same community.
Well, Moraine is Rosamund Pike, and the stoic guy that she was just talking to that said, "Where to next?" That's Lan. He's her warder and companion, although not romantic, but they have this magical bond that allows them to both get some magical enhancements, we'll say. And so they are off in search of this figure called the Dragon Reborn, who will save the world or destroy the world. It's a very pivotal time for the entirety of the world. And for some reasons that you'll probably see unfold over the course of the season, Moraine is looking for him in different locations. One of these locations is the 2 rivers, which is where Egwene is right here. And that's where I think the next shots of the trailer like show the different kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, the 5 people all know each other, are all friends. And we'll get into maybe some of the dynamics. And one of them is a little bit older than the others, but we'll get into the dynamics of them, I think, probably a little bit.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's hope it's prepared them for what's coming. The Dark One is waking.
Okay, sorry, I'm talking a lot.
You're good.
I'm wondering about, so they just mentioned the Dark One, if it's like an enemy that's one person or if it's like a group, or I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's actually, if you didn't know anything about the series, you'd think that the Fade, that like kind of gross looking creature on the horse there, you would think that is the Dark One, but that's not the case.
Okay. Yeah, they make it look like that.
Yeah, the Dark One is kind of a typical, at least in the beginning, a little bit of just the typical fantasy trope of this kind of very powerful evil being that you don't really know a whole lot except for they're evil, at least in the beginning of the series. And that they have a bunch of minion-y forces that are being kind of held at bay, but it looks like they're starting to seep more into the world.
Okay. I was going to ask that too, if they have any influence yet or if it's just in the future.
And one of the big themes of the series is balance between good and evil, between Saidin and Saidar, between power in a lot of different forms. And the Dark One and the Creator are like the light and the darkness balance. And yeah, like Josh said previously, the Dark One had kind of been sealed away through this event that happened generations ago. Now he's starting to get more powerful. He is looking for these kids for a lot of the same reasons Moraine is looking for them. And this is all going to kind of come to a heads pretty quickly. I'm assuming like in the very first episode, this initial conflict will kick off.
Okay. All right, we'll keep going.
But there will be one who can stand against him. And it's one of the 5 of you.
You fully lost your mind.
Your life isn't going to be what you thought.
Moraine.
What are those? His army is coming.
What can we do?
We protect the people we love, no matter the cost.
okay, I'm not really sure how to ask this, but I guess like is it mainly people in this world? It looks like there's creatures that are kind of like humans.
Yeah, so that's a great question. It's mostly people. There are creatures. There's definitely these hordes of like the Dark One's creations, like Trollocs are kind of like what would be comparable to orcs in Lord of the Rings. Kind of bestial.
Those were the very large bestial creatures we just saw.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
They're human. They're kind of like humans spliced with like other animals. So like you could have like a wolf looking Trolloc or a bird looking Trolloc.
Or just animals spliced with different animals. They're all supposed to look kind of different and just be just like abominations.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't act like humans.
They are not human level intelligence.
They can communicate.
They communicate with each other. Famously, there's one scene in the first book where the Trolloc talks in like English or the common tongue.
Yeah.
And then that's like the only time in the series that Trolloc talks. So it's kind of like a meme kind of in the fandom is like is that moment. But I would not say that they're at human level intelligence. Other things though, like the Fade would be considered, I would think, human level intelligence, if not like a very,
I would think so.
Kind of in a lot of ways more intelligent than your average human probably. Then there's other types of creatures that you come in contact with throughout the series that are, I mean,
most importantly for the first season is going to be what's called the Ogier, which are not ogres, they're Ogier, and they're kind of like they look like Trollocs almost, like they're sometimes people are afraid of them because they look like beasts, but they're actually very pacifistic. What is that word? They're pacifists, we'll say, and they kind of live off on their own in these magical groves and are very they're I guess the comp from Lord of the Rings would be Ents, but they're not made
trees.
out of trees.
But anyway, so yes, there are other creatures, but like most of the people that you're going to be coming in contact with are humans.
Okay.
And you asked earlier who Rand was. Rand is the redheaded guy who looks like he's wearing the nice sweater that could have came off the rack at Old Navy. For now.
Oh, come on. Where did we get a shot?
That was one of the things when Josh asked me after like the first, it was like, the first like clip. He asked me what I thought of it, and I just said all the characters just look like really nice people. I don't know if they are.
I don't think I can find Rand. Sorry for the clicking in the recording.
I mean, for the most part, we're following a bunch of nice people, but then they're forced into some really difficult situations. Yeah, and definitely not all nice people. Nice. Yeah, we're about to come across some bad people.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Our enemies are everywhere. They will leave no one standing.
We've lost too many people already. I can't lose you.
You won't. If we do not stop the Dark One now, the whole world will burn. I can't allow it. The wheel weaves as the wheel wills.
Okay, so now tell me how it ends.
There's a lot in that.
There's a lot there, McKenzie. You got all of that.
There's a lot. I don't even know what to ask about. I mean, I'm excited to watch the show.
So let's go back. Let's go back here. Let me see if I can use these arrows to do better.
Go to the White Cloaks. They're
that's what I was first gonna go.
Our enemies are everywhere.
All right, what do you think about these guys?
They're giving me the vibes of like the Hunger Games capital people.
Okay.
But I don't.
Okay.
I don't know. Like probably. I mean, they're talking about enemies, so I'm assuming these are some of the enemies.
And he's burning an Aes Sedai at the stake is what's happening
Yeah.
there.
Okay, so this is like in the same
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was
I didn't know that they were connected.
presumably. I mean, that's
And in
what
the next shot, he's got
Our enemies are everywhere.
yeah.
So yeah, very evil.
And then he just takes that. If you just saw it, he just clips that ring to his belt. So it looks like the implication is that he has killed like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 Aes Sedai, right?
the Aes Sedai all had these iconic rings that are given to them when they reach like mastery and they earn the rank. So he's killed a lot of them, which is
Oh.
bad. There's a bad
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so they are kind of religious zealots that believe that channeling the one power in any form is kind of like blasphemy. Would you say, Stephen?
Yeah, they call Aes Sedai Tar-Valon witches because Tar-Valon is the name of the big city that you probably saw in one of the other trailers. Yeah, religious zealots is good.
And the thing is, in the book, we're told that they're bad, but for a while we don't really see them doing
Yeah,
very many
agreed.
bad things besides kind of like being suspicious of our characters that we like and kind of like wanting to capture them because they're suspicious. But so it looks like they're immediately posing them as much more of a threat immediately in the show by showing them burning this Aes Sedai. Yeah.
Okay. So they're like a different kind of enemy, kind of working against.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're not like forces of the Dark One per se.
Yeah.
They're kind of crusaders. I don't know.
They're wicked men, to quote Gollum.
Yes.
All right. Good job for them.
All right. Well, so we see
More.
Okay. Well, what about this shot? Looks.
So this guy, his name's Logan. He was the one that previously was being like held by Moraine and friends. And now it looks like he's breaking out. This is a man who can channel and would be going insane. And he's actually, this is kind of backstory to where we're getting into, but right away you'll learn this guy has declared himself to be the Dragon Reborn and got a bit of a following around himself. So he's kind of stirred up the countryside and caused a bunch of problems.
Sounds like an interesting character.
Mm-hmm. And then what other shots? So we get kind of the 2 rivers here, which is where they're from, kind of on fire, burning up. Looks like there's a Trolloc attack. So we see these Trollocs fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all these nice people from this nice town are going through some trauma right away.
Yes.
A lot of fire. Okay, yeah. What vibes are you getting from this shot?
I don't know. I mean, right now I'm thinking of like Narnia, the stone table.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe some kind of
I like Narnia. I like go for the wardrobe instead for Narnia.
Yeah. So this is kind of divisive
Okay.
among fans. This is a gateway to a place called the Ways, which we won't go into too many details with that.
Mhm.
But this is depicted very differently than it is in the books, I'd say. But I think it looks really cool. And if you haven't just like read the book, I don't know, like they're both gateway looking things.
Yeah, it looks different, but it looks cool. This is a way they go into this other realm and they can travel really fast, but it's also really dangerous because it too is corrupted.
I also want to pause on this shot because it gives us kind of a chance to round out talking about characters that we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
Is there a lot of travel between different realms?
No.
No.
There is,
'Cause I didn't know
well,
that was part of it.
the traveling around develops as time passes in the series. They gain additional ways to move around as time
But-
passes.
Between different realms, I wouldn't say that they're really like jumping between like different worlds or stuff like that.
Yeah,
yeah, it all takes place in kind of one reality.
Okay.
Right.
With maybe
With a couple
99.9%.
yeah, a couple exceptions, but yeah, for the most part, yeah. But yeah,
Okay.
you want to go through and name these guys off?
Yeah. So right here we have Lan, who's Moraine's warder. So here's Moraine.
Okay.
And this is Lan, her warder. Warder again is kind of like a bodyguard. And they're connected magically. So he's able to kind of feel what she's feeling in a lot of ways. And anyway, yeah.
So Lan far right, if you can't see the mouse, Lan far right, Moraine center approaching the Waygate.
Mm-hmm. I think that this looks like Egwene, who we talked about earlier.
In front of Rand.
In front of Rand. Sorry. Yeah, in front of Rand. Rand, who has the bow. In the first season, and who knows, no spoilers, but for sure in the first season, they will have a romantic relationship of some sort.
Okay.
Which we don't know how intense that's going to be or what that's going to look like, but that is there. Then we have Matt Cawthon. Assuming you want to take a little bit explanation of Matt.
Yeah, Matt's the guy over here who looks like he's kind of cold up here. Looks like he's shivering right now. He's kind of your typical Joker type, fun guy who's all over the place. And he's a fan favorite, gets up to a lot of trouble. He's going to get up to a lot of trouble in this book and really kind of unravel a lot of the plans immediately.
Not intentionally so.
Yeah, not intentionally, but just, too curious, we'll say. He's going to be played by a different actor in the forthcoming seasons. So that they
season
did
2.
Yeah, starting in season 2, which is unfortunate, but it happens.
We don't know the reasons behind it. They've kept it all kind of hush hush. So although we do know, or at least it's been said, it's not because of his performance in season 1. And from things that I've heard from people who have seen screenings, his performance was outstanding in season 1. But so that's the one reason we know it's not, was because he did a bad job portraying that. But it's been pretty hush hush. We don't know why, but he was recast.
Okay.
Moving on from Matt, we have Nynaeve, who was in that shot earlier. You saw her do like the little braid tug / flip around and get ready to go fight a Trolloc. And she is older than the rest of the cast by 3, 4, 5 years. Stephen, how much older would you say?
I don't want to put a number because I'll probably be wrong, but I'd guess like 4 or 5 years older.
Yeah, she kind of sees herself as she kind of sees all these other characters as maybe being under her wing a little bit, like feels pretty protective of them. She is also what they call the village wisdom. So the way that the Two Rivers is laid out in a lot of smaller towns in the countryside is they have the town council, who's kind of made of men, and then they have the village wisdom and the women's circle.
Yeah, the women's circle. The women's circle is like really the ones who make it happen, and the men of kind of questionable ability are, I guess, running things. And then the wisdom is the one who kind of everyone defers to, and you'll learn more about that role. And yeah, Nynaeve definitely, she's in the position where these kids would be under her protection, and as a result, she's very distrustful of Moraine, who she sees as taking her charges off on this kind of sus adventure.
The character right in front of Nynaeve, we don't know for sure, but we assume that is Loyal, who Stephen mentioned earlier is an Ogier. So this is maybe not a human character, but that's not like for sure confirmed. But if we're taking the scene, which we assume that this is the scene from the book, that would be Loyal.
Yeah.
But there's probably going to be some like CG stuff done on his face, so that's probably why it's probably not ready for the trailer. So they are kind of hiding in behind 90.
Yeah.
Okay.
This next character is Perrin, and Perrin is kind of like he's a blacksmith. And
he's the strong, silent, very introspective type of character.
Mhm.
He develops some he's interesting. He's got some interesting abilities, we'll say.
And there's stuff that's leaked from or stuff that we think might happen in the first episode that's pretty different from the book, that fans you might see are going to be maybe upset about, that they gave him some additional character motivation than he had in the book. So I think that's a rumor that's pretty much all but confirmed, but
yeah,
we'll see going forward.
I'm going into it without reading the books.
Yeah. So, but these are things that, like, these are things that I'm going to be interested to talk to you about as somebody who's watching the show without reading the books, what you think of them versus, you know, people who are big fans of the book who might be upset about some of these changes.
Mm-hmm.
So
if it like changes my whole view of his character.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Let's any more? We could talk about the Aiel for a second there, because there is
this is so that's 90 running right there. Let's get to this.
There's a really brief
these Trollocs look. So real quick, what they did, McKenzie, was they took they made these different, they were trying to figure out different ways to get different looking Trollocs, and they only, you know, like they're budget constrained somewhat, and they did most of this with prosthetics and then a little bit of computer touch up.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was they took these horns and they made them like magnetized, so they can go like magnet them on different like designs, so that they can get a lot of different looking Trollocs, like by just switching out the horns and stuff.
That's cool.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway,
so there was a budget constraint, because it looks like there's maybe not a budget constraint.
Yeah, it doesn't look like one.
yeah. Okay. All right. So
They did a good job if they were.
So we get different shots of people using the power. Okay. Valdara shots. All right. Where's the did I skip the
No.
shot already?
I think you did. Yeah. It's before the Faldara.
It's
actually, I forgot where it is in the trailer.
Okay. Let's just come back here. Watch this.
Oh yeah, this is what we should have done.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing
I think it's back here. Sorry, go ahead, Steven.
I was gonna say, I think the scenes from the trailer, it's obviously not, here we go. Yeah. Probably not the full show. I would say, shots mostly maybe from like the first 3 or 4 episodes. So that's something that we're interested in, to see how much further it goes.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. All right.
Okay.
Let's watch this.
So shot. These 2 brief shots of this person running in the snow with this garb that looks different. So this is an Aiel, which is a race of humans that lives on the other side of this mountain range that kind of divides like the lush Greenland area from the desert area. And so this is like the desert tribe. And this is we're assuming this is representing conflict that happened years ago, where they came across the mountains and got into this big battle. And that has a big effect on some of the motivations for what Moraine is doing and our characters. It'll all kind of tie in together. But this tribe of Aiel is going to become a very big thing. Probably not as much in season 1, but going forward, I think they're going to make it bigger and bigger.
It's such a cool shot.
But they're just kind of like the awesome warriors that can take, like this lightly armored warriors taking down this knight is kind of the vibe you're getting.
Yeah.
All right, wait, we still have one more shot. I think there's like a little post credit.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Do you think we'll ever go back?
Home? No.
All right, there we go. There's the last shot.
I guess my only question there is just, I mean, with these 5 that are going on this journey or whatever, figuring out which one is going to defeat the dark one. I'm guessing, I don't know, are some of them more, I don't know, not that you'd be excited to be part of that, but like, are some of them more into it than others? I would imagine that some don't really want to.
To an extent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, to a major extent. That's a great observation. Like, especially throughout the first book, there are some characters that are like, we should not be out here. We should go home.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, sure. Like Nynaeve on one end. I think I would say Egwene. I mean, Matt. Well, Matt gets kind of tangled up in some other stuff, but Egwene is kind of excited to go see the world. She sees herself as kind of an apprentice to Nynaeve, but is like, kind of like, okay, well, who knows? Like, here's this woman that's like just a few years older than me and probably never going to be like really, like better than her or whatever, So I think there's definitely some aspects of like some of the characters want to go out, see the world, are excited that this Aes Sedai has come and taken interest in them. Other characters are like, so Egwene
can only cause trouble.
Egwene has a career path block, so she's putting her resume out there on LinkedIn and looking around. Yeah,
exactly.
You're not wrong.
It's like, this is the millennial being like, oh dang, the Gen X is never going to retire. I'm screwed. Like,
yeah.
All right.
And that last shot is like, are we ever going to go home? And like, wondering about that, and this quest has swept them up for good or what. So
yeah, I'm really excited about the show. Josh has me pretty excited. I know he's just probably counting down the exact amount of hours like for the last few months.
Josh posted a website with a countdown timer.
That was Ben, actually.
Oh, it was? Okay.
But I did text the people I'm going to be watching it down with here a countdown hours until it comes out. That was more of a guesstimate because we still don't know for sure the time it's coming out. But
yeah,
on last Thursday night, I texted them like, I think 100 how many hours are in a week? Anyway, I texted them that. So.
You'll be ready a few hours early just in case.
Yeah.
Same, McKenzie. Okay, well, like everything we do, especially on Wheel of Time, this took a lot longer than we were thinking, but hopefully that was, informative to you. If you are a new watcher, new consumer of the Wheel of Time and haven't read the books, I think we avoided spoilers. I feel like we're safe.
Yeah, we might want to go in and add a little bit more of a spoiler warning because we did. I don't know. We didn't spoil plot points, but people are sensitive about spoilers. So
okay. Well, thanks for tuning in. Definitely. What do we need to plug? Do we need to plug anything? I guess, you know what, by the time this comes out, it's probably too late for anything that we're going to try to plug. So let's plug the Wheel of Time TV show. Go and watch it.
Yep. And just subscribe to our socials, follow us on Twitter, join our Discord. If this is something you'd like to be a part of, we're going to be doing episode breakdowns. Maybe that's the takeaway. Leave a comment or jump in our Discord and tell us how you want us to handle covering each episode. I think we're going to probably do a reaction episode and then like a deep dive episode. I think is kind of the basic things for each episode, or I don't know. The first 3 are all dumping at once, so we might have to consolidate that a little bit. But
yes, we will figure something out. We will pump out as much content as we can, although there's a lot of content on Wheel of Time. Anyway, McKenzie, thank you for coming on. This is exciting. We don't get guests very often.
Thank you. This was fun.
We don't get female guests very often, we should say.
Also true.
Need to read more books.
Thanks, Stephen.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye.